Monday morning, everybody. It's Julie with Reflections Framing and Stitching, and welcome to my channel. This is a channel mostly about cross stitch. I do throw in some antique shopping on occasion and some decorating sort of things. So welcome if you haven't been here before, and welcome back if you have. Today's video, I'm going to show you my progress on Hawk Run Hollow and my little spring bird. And I might attach the couple of videos ago I told you, I see my hutch right there. I told you that I had kind of revamped it a little bit, and I kind of recorded my process. So I'm thinking about potentially attaching that to the end of this video if you want to watch it. If you don't, you can always shut it off when I get to that point. I usually put those sorts of things at the end of the video, so if you don't want to watch them, you don't have to. But if you do watch it and you decide to leave a comment, please make sure that it is kind. You don't have to lie or anything, but you don't have to get snarky if you don't like something that I do either. I know on a lot of the other like decorating videos that I watch, the comments can get really snarky, and I don't see any purpose behind that other than the fact that they're being left by mean and hateful people. And I would just assume that you know, if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all, kind of thing. So that's how I was raised, and that's how I would appreciate things being done. So if you don't want to watch it, don't watch it. If you do watch it, if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all. However, I do appreciate constructive criticism and comments. The end. So, all right, let's get this party on the road. I'm going to start with Hawk Run. I think I'm doing a pretty good job of keeping at it. In my opinion, I've done quite a bit on it. So this is the block that I'm working on. It is the grist mill, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to change it. Instead of Jacob's grist mill, I think that's what it says. Hold please. Instead of Jacob's grist mill, I think I'm going to make it Dan's grist mill. I think so. It kind of makes me wish I had changed Opal's boarding house to Julie's boarding house, but I didn't, and I'm not about to go back and rip that out, so that is what it is. So here is my progress. I hope the lighting's okay. It is a very dark, gloomy, windy day. We actually got some rain last night, which we needed, but it's still going to be gloomy and rainy today, they said. So here's my progress. I got part of the grist mill done, got the start of a tree, filled in these flowers, filled this brown spot in. It's kind of more of a greeny sort of color, but I filled that in, and I started filling in the flowers down here. So now I'll go back to the house, or the grist mill, and work on it for a while before I work on this tree some more. And then I'll drop down and do some of this, and I'm going to bop around a little bit just so that I don't get bored, because it's a lot of fill. A lot of fill. And Phil is not my favorite person in the world. So I knew a Phil once, and he wasn't my favorite person. So anyway, the second thing I worked on was my bird. And it's supposed to look like that. But I'm not done, so it doesn't look exactly like that. However, it does Got to get the needle out of the way. Does look like this. So I got some of the body done down here, and I brought it down here, and I'm filling in the pink flower right here now. So, isn't it pretty? I just think it's really pretty. Really, really pretty. And that is the extent of everything that I have worked on since my last recording, which, I don't know. I think I might have recorded that 2 weeks ago. I don't know. So I don't have a whole lot more to show you. I got my colors for the Extraordinary Bird Stitch Along, so I'm going to put those in. I'm a floss away or a floss pack kind of girl, so I'm going to get those in bags while I just kind of visit a little bit. Ask you how your week's been. Did you have a good weekend? I am hoping, because at the end of this I'm going to hopefully attach the video of the hutch, so I'm hoping you'll enjoy that. And what else do I know? Not much. I have a nail appointment here in a few minutes that I have to go to, which is good because look at that. I was stretching cross stitch this week, and well, last week, and I went to, I had the pin partially in and I wasn't happy with its positioning, and I went to pull it out, and this nail must have been a little bit loose, because then it ripped it. It didn't really feel very good when that happened. And then I am not flipping you off, but this finger, that nail is also completely loose. So I need some work done. I'm falling apart. So I got to go to that in a few minutes. I've already vacuumed and mopped the kitchen and the pantry. I did the vacuuming and dusting out in the... Rem, what you barking for? It's okay. I don't know what she hears. Remy, that's enough. I did the living room yesterday. Rags is of a certain age, and sometimes she keeps getting like a UTI, bladder infection, whatever you want to call it, and leaves a lake on the rug. And even though you clean it, sometimes it just needs to be done a little more thoroughly. So I had Dan take it to the laundromat yesterday, and it's one of those washable rugs, so I had him take it to the laundromat and clean it. So I took the opportunity to deep clean the room whilst the rug was gone and the furniture was kind of moved out of the way. So I finished up the floors this morning here, and when I get back from my nail appointment, I'll do the bathroom and the entryway, and then it will be nice and clean and shiny. So how do you guys store your floss for a project? Like I said, I'm a floss pack kind of girl. I know a lot of people use floss drops, but I'm too lazy for that. I would just as soon shove them in a bag, and when I get to the end of the length that I'm using, be able to just shove it in instead of trying to get it through a hole. So I think floss drops are absolutely adorable and I love them, but I don't actually use them for a project. Maybe if it was a small project, I would. But for the most part, I prefer not to. There are 34 colors, I think, in this stitch along. So I'm getting them bagged up, and then I'll put them in numerical order when I put them on the ring. And then I have one of those little, what is it called? It's one of those little printers. It prints out a small, like 2x3 picture. And so I'll take a picture of the cover, or what there is of the cover right now. I'll take a picture of that, and well, I think there's 2 of these in here. Yeah. And put that on the ring, because I'm not gonna lie, oftentimes my floss and my chart and actual project get separated for one reason or another. Whether it's because I'm making a video for you all to watch and I dig it all out and then I don't immediately put it back, and then, you know, if it's not labeled, I don't know what goes to what. So I like to put a picture. I could just, you know, do a floss drop and write it on there. But again, a picture is worth 1,000 words. So I tend to take a picture and print it out on my little tiny printer and put it in a little plastic sleeve and punch a hole in it and put it on the ring. And then I do the same thing, print a second picture, and I attach it to the project bag, so that it's easy to find what's in the, even though my project bags mostly have a clear front, the picture of it isn't always facing where you can see it. So it's just easier to have a picture of it on the outside that I can reference and get put away. So how do you do yours for a project? Not for permanent storage, but for a project. What do you like to do? Are you a bobbinator? I used to be a bobbinator. I am not anymore, again, because it's a lot of work, takes up a lot of time, and it's time I could be stitching. So I don't like to do that anymore. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying for me, I'd rather use that time to stitch. I already said I don't really care for floss drops as far as keeping my floss organized. What else have I done? I think that's about it. I think I bobbinated right up until I discovered these. And then I went to that and, you know, sold. That's just how I roll. But I'd be interested in what you do. What else do I know? I think this weekend is Memorial Day weekend, and we also have last Saturday stitching Saturday, so looking forward to that. I had quite a few people in the shop on Saturday. It was a pretty busy day, which was nice. Dan's doing well. He's getting I had put on the Facebook page post about the box for O Tannenbaum from With a Needle and Thread, and to see if there was any interest in having Dan make, you know, sometimes you can't get these dang bags open anymore. They're really zipped together good. see if there was any interest, because Dan could make them on his laser machine that I got him, and there was quite a bit of interest. So he's working on those, and he's also working on some of those magnetic frames for working with perforated paper. So he's doing that. He's also making another, I don't know, I don't think I shared with you for retreat a couple weekends ago, we had a May Day basket exchange because it was retreat started on May Day, and I had him make me a strawberry box because my basket was themed. You didn't have to theme your basket. It just happened that I themed my basket, and it just so happened that it was strawberry themed. And so this sure feels like more than 34. Strawberry themed basket, and I asked him to make me a wooden basket thing to put all my goodies in for the person that would get them. I think I took a picture of that. Hopefully I can find it, and maybe I'll insert that picture here so you can see what I gave. And there's such a plethora of strawberry themed charts right now that I thought having one or two of those baskets in the shop would be good in case someone wants to. My thought process was the chart that I gave with my basket was strawberry and bird themed. Are we surprised? And it had several projects in it, and I thought, you know, if you stitched up all the projects, they could then be displayed in the strawberry basket and would be really cute. So just in case, I thought having one or two in the shop would be good in case someone else wants to do the same thing. And it looks like my camera battery is going to die here real quick. So I'm going to have to wrap this up, which is a good thing because I'm almost done here. So anyway, I'm going to attach the hutch to the end, and I'll put the pictures of the strawberry basket in, and our stitch along officially starts today. So when I get back, I will probably start stitching on that. And yeah, I hope everyone has a great week, gets lots of stitching done. If you were in any of those awful tornadoes, I feel so bad. I've lived through a tornado before that wiped out most of our neighborhood. I know how it feels. Of course, I was a kid, so I probably don't know exactly how it feels, but for a kid, it was pretty terrifying. So, you know, my prayers go out to everyone that has been affected by these tornadoes. And I will, last one, see you in the next one. You take care until then. Bye! So those of you who know me well probably aren't surprised by the fact that I've decided I need to redo the inside of my hutch that used to be in the kitchen, but is now around the corner in the family room. It's a dark corner, and having it painted black in this room, although I absolutely loved how it looked in the kitchen, doesn't really work for me here in the family room. It's just too dark. So I've unloaded it, Dan is off picking up paint, and we're going to give this a refresh, and we'll see how it goes. I haven't tested any paint colors. Normally I would test 3 or 4, see what I like, but I just picked one and we're going to go with it, and if he gets the first coat on and I don't like it, we'll go back and get another color, I guess. So I'm going to try and record this as we go through the process, and hopefully we might get it done this weekend, but I'm not going to hold my breath. This is step 2. Dan has cut and fit the beadboard. With no nails yet, he says.
Boom.
Boom, he says. So I think what the next step is going to be nailing it, screwing it. Oh, there are holes on that need to be drilled in for the light cords. So I guess that will be the next step. The thing weighs a ton. It weighs a frickin' ton, so moving it is not the easiest thing to do. So I'll check back in after the next step. Today we've got a sample of the new paint color. That would be on the top shelf, the back. And Dan is priming the black. I really like the paint color. It's subtle, which is what I wanted. I kind of wanted something that would be, you know, just fade into the background, but be light enough so that the corner's not a dark hole. So I think I'm going to like it, but the black was throwing me off. So Dan is priming it so we can paint at least the top cubby all the same color.
Yes, so we can.
Yes, we. That's the royal we. I could do that if you wanted me to. I just would have to do it in short spurts. So we'll check back in later. Okay, the painting's done, and it is now time to start decorating the shelves of the hutch. So when I start decorating shelves, I like to start with what I'm going to refer to as like the foundational pieces. So the background pieces. In this instance, it's going to be, I have a mirror, like a tray mirror, and then a bowl and a plate. So I'm going to get those placed, and then I'll show you how that looks. Okay, so here's the mirror, and that would be the bowl and the plate. Now I'm not 100% in love with the plate, but for right now it's going to stay there. We'll see if it gets switched out at some point, but that's what it looks like so far. So the next step for me is I'm just going to start placing some items on there, see what I like, what I don't like, and I will bring you along on the process. Okay, I've added a ironstone pitcher, and it is sitting on riser with a little wreath around it. That would be my next largest piece that I'm going to put on this particular shelf. So that's why I decided to start with it. And next I will go in with the next largest piece, which is this silver tray, bowl tray. I'm not sure what it is. But I've put another little mini wreath in there, and with a flower frog in it, and just got some of my scissors in there. So that's how that looks. And next up will be something over on this side. Okay, so the point of this whole remodel, redo, redecorate, whatever word I want to use, was to add a little more decor items, a little less dishes, since it's in the family room. So I've got a couple of cones of thread and a jar of buttons. This one could change, not totally sure yet. And I added a little more greenery. I think next up, I've got this little dish. It's got some lovely crazing on it, and I think it'll fit in that spot pretty good. What do you think? Do we like it? I like how the flower is showing in the bowl, so I didn't cover that up. So I think that's looking pretty good. This side still needs some more stuff, so I'm not sure what I'm doing yet. I will keep you posted. All right, got it figured out. I'm going to place this Johnson Brothers, I think it's Mill Stream because it's got the mill on it. So it's not Friendly Village, but it is Johnson Brothers Gravy Boat. And I think that fills that in quite nicely. And what's good about that is over on the other wall that you can't see yet, I have a cross-stitch picture of a mill that I think will look great up on top. I think that's a brilliant idea. Okay, I've got the larger pieces in their place, I think. I think they're in their place. And we're going to then, I've got a couple of plates over here and a couple plates over here. I have another piece of what did I just say? Johnson Brothers. This one is not Old Mill Stream. This one is, I think it's Old Country Village or something like that. So I think those are going to stay there. I think the light may change places, but we'll see. I'm going to bring in some other pieces now. So you may recognize this box. There we go. It's the cheese box that I showed in my last video. And then I've just put some of my sewing accessories in there. So I've got, got a spool of thread. I've got a tomato, a couple of embroidery hoops, a needle book, a jar of miscellaneous sewing things with keys, some old bobbins. I'm sorry, I'm really bad at this. Bobbins, and this was picked up on my last antiquing trip. And then an old doily hanging over the edge. So I like that there. So I think it's going to stay. Yeah. I may add a little sprig of greenery coming out of it yet, but for right now, I think that's where it's going to stay. So I didn't like the fact that the lampshade was at the same height as the platters back here, so I went ahead and put 2 books underneath it, a couple of vintage ones, to give it a little more height. And I like that a lot better. Little pop of greenery in probably an old casserole dish of some kind. And that fills that up pretty good, I think. So there we are so far. So I gotta do something with this side now. So I've added another brown transferware dish. This one is not Johnson Brothers, with some more greenery in it. Can you tell I like greenery? I can't keep a plant alive to save my soul. So it's all fake, people, and I know some people don't like artificial greenery, but A, my kids were always allergic to the mold in the dirt with real plants, and B, I killed them. So it's the better part of valor to use artificial, and that way they always look good. All right, I added a couple of wine goblets. We don't drink wine, but they look pretty. and I think, I'm not 100% sure, but I think that this jar here maybe was for tobacco or for cigars. Someone said it was for cigars, so I've just got some sewing stuff in there, and I think that looks pretty good. But I think I need something else over here. Just a little something maybe sitting right there. Right there, I think. I don't know. I added the little jar of buttons. Well, it's a shaker, I think. It's got holes in the top. So it's a shaker with buttons in it. So this is what this shelf currently, well, the two shelves look like. I'm not sure it's all going to stay this way. But I'm going to get the bottom shelf done and then we'll see. Okay, so there are the larger pieces, I think. We've got a planter with some succulents and greenery in it. Old vintagey looking. I suppose it's almost vintage now. I think anything over 25 years is vintage, and I think I bought that 25 years ago. Bought it new at the time, but it was probably bought at least 25 years ago, so it could be considered vintage now. And then just a stack of bowls. I think I need some greenery in those bowls. And then I'm going to see what else I can come up with for this bottom shelf. Stay tuned. Okay, so I added the greenery to the bowls. And I put a couple of the old Millstream plates back there on either side of the old tricycle. So I have a sugar and creamer in that pattern also, I think. So I think I might add those. It may not be the same pattern. I can't tell. It doesn't say. So, oh yeah. Yeah, that's a mill, I think. Okay. All right, so I'm going to add those real quick. Okay, there's the sugar and creamer and a couple of books. I tried them just both flat on the bottom of the shelf, and I didn't care for it. So books it is. I think that looks pretty good. So, and then I've also added one of my sewing machines that I got. So now I got to finish up this middle part. And then we'll see the whole thing with the lights on. Yay! Good morning. It's been a couple of days since the last clip. We had weather the night I was last recording, and so I decided I'd better pay attention to the weather. And then yesterday it was so gloomy we couldn't get a decent picture in here if I'd you know, tried. So here we are. It is Saturday morning, and it is as done as it's going to be for now. I need a couple of things, but here's the bottom shelf. I think I added the little sewing machine. Greenery here in the middle. Right here, I put my sign, my amount purchase sign, and depression glass flower frog with some scissors in it. And I added that picture right there. So I think for now that finishes off the bottom shelf. I tweaked the middle shelf by put the 2 wine goblets on books to raise them up so that they were more on par with the height of the lamp. And I think that's all I did there. And then up top I brought over my picture I was telling you about of the mill. I stitched that, oh gosh, a long time ago. It's an old Stony Creek, I think. I've got a candlestick up there waiting for a candle, but I need more of like a short stubby candle. And I don't have any of those. And then, I don't know how well you can see it, but tea set silver plated pot and sugar creamer. I think I want to add a little more greenery up there, like coming around the back side of the picture up here. And then I think it'll be done. I may tweak the shelves a little more, add, take away. But for now, I think it looks pretty good. I'm happy with the color. I don't necessarily like it with the color of the hutch itself. Let me see if I can back up a bit. Hi, Dan. Hello. But that's how it looks. So you can tell me what you think, but just keep in mind, I am not an interior designer. I've had no schooling for that. So be kind. If you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all. And hopefully you enjoyed this video. So we'll see you in the next one. Bye! So it's been a couple of weeks since I recorded the last time, the hutch anyway. And I thought I would just show it to you. I did get the candle, like I said I needed, and made a few little tweaks. The needle card is over there, that's new. I changed out the cigar holder for this because it was more the same height, and changed it out from buttons to spools. That's about the only changes that I've made in those couple of weeks. I did have Dan fix the holes in the wall that were over here. We used to have a old vintage phone, you know, like one of those wood hand crank phones hanging there, but obviously that didn't work with the hutch. And I did have him paint. This was not painted under here, if you've noticed that in the videos. So I had him paint that. But otherwise, I think it's pretty much the way it was when I finished the last portion of the video. So I thought I just would show you the few tweaks before I finish it up. So that's what it looks like. I'm pretty happy with it. Sure, it won't stay this way for long, but for now it's gonna do. So thank you so much for watching, and hopefully enjoying the video. Take care until next time. Bye.